Alright, we all tend to underplay our abilities and sometimes even think that we're bad at something. I know I do, especially when that something is something I really care about, like photography and creating content. Recently, I bumped into a bunch of old photos I took since 2011 when I got my first camera and noticed some interesting things. Here's a bit of what I went through plus some tips that may help you if you're going through the same. First of all, the learnings. The very first thing that went into my mind when going through all of these photos was the joy of reliving old memories. Trips with family, friends, and even shots of my city the way it looked 10 years ago. It can be an emotional process at times because these are snapshots of things that may not go back to the way they were or show you people that are not around anymore, but this is an important part of being mindful and grateful of what we have and where we are. Second, and a bit more oriented to the photo process itself, I realized I took better pictures than I thought at the moment. I tend to be too hard on myself and sometimes even rage delete a bunch of my stuff, and this was not really the exception. I thought some of these pictures were not good enough for me back then, but now, after having had a lot of time to not think about them and also having been distanced from the process itself, they don't look half bad. I even decided to post a few on my socials. Also, some pictures that didn't work for some reason back then now do because technology made the process a bit easier. For example, I had this photo of a couple kissing in Malaga that had potential back then when I took it, but it had to be cleaned up quite a lot. When I tried this years ago, I got tired and simply stopped because it was not good enough without me spending hours on that cleanup. Now though, with the help of modern day Lightroom, the process was faster and the results even better than I would expect. And of course, I'm talking about the AI removals. Say what you will about this tool, but it really helped me bring photos that I thought shelved back to life. Now, here are a few tips that may help you if you're going through something similar. First, make sure you have a saving system in place. I used Google Photos when it was fully free without limitations, but now I'm back to my good old hard drive, an SSD to be precise. I have a system and process in place for after I take some photos so that I make sure that it stays organized. The tool in the end does not matter much. You just need to make sure that you store your pictures somewhere safe where you can come back later. The next one is quite common and you probably heard it before, but it's worth mentioning. After finishing some edits, give yourself some time, ideally a day or two before you do anything with these photos. And of course, avoid looking them during this time. You'll be surprised on how when you come back, you'll see photos with way different eyes that you had before and recognize issues that you didn't see, or even undo some edits that you thought were good at the moment, but you were too close to the issue to realize they weren't. You have to make this tip adapt to your situation though, since it will not work if you need to turn in the photos to a client or have some sort of older deadline. But when available, give it a day or two before you consider your photos done. Now, the next level after this is to go back to your really old pictures every once in a while, even you already checked, edited, and even posted them. This is exactly what I went through with my old photos, and here's where you have the most potential for surprising yourself with work you thought bad but wasn't, but also maybe even work that you thought was good and now you don't like it anymore. It's about looking at it with your now eyes. So that was it. I don't think photos are ever final, so just make sure you revisit your work every once in a while, at the very least for inspiration. Have fun.